Hello everyone, welcome to Africa Weekly Report with Ellie Naimal on Tempo Africa TV. So this breaking news that we're going to give to you guys is about the new virus that has just hit United States and Canada. And then we're going to give you guys more details on what it is about and also some of the history about monkeypox. So this new virus that we have is not a brand new virus. It's not a novel virus like the coronavirus, what we have been through for the last 2 or 3 years. This virus has been around for many years now, and also it was discovered in 1958 in the DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo, and also throughout West Africa as well. And the first outbreak, it was not discovered in humans until 1970. So as you can see, it's not a brand new virus. It's not a novel virus. It's not something that is new to African people, and also many that have known about it in the third world country. But with the Americans and the Canadians that are probably new to this or that are freaking out about it, monkeypox has been the new reported virus. So you kind of wonder, why now? Why now are we talking about monkeypox? Why is it now an epidemic here in the United States, Canada, and also around the world? And when we just got done with COVID-19. So, and just to give a little bit more information about monkeypox. So monkeypox cases in people have occurred outside of Africa, lead to international travel or import of animals, including cases in the United States as well as Israel, Singapore, and the United Kingdom. With it being discovered in Africa, it was a lab research that they were, when the two outbreaks took out, it was a pox-like disease occurred in the colonies of monkeys kept for research, and that's where they found monkeypox. So monkeypox belong in the pox family. So you have smallpox, chickenpox, all the other pox. That's where it is discovered from as well. And as far as, the effort of eliminating monkeypox, it was eradicated after it was discovered in 1970. And since the monkeypox has been reported in humans in other Central and Western African countries. So it was eradicated at some point, and now it is coming back in 2022. There has been small cases of it in the previous years, in Africa and many places, and they have not talked much about it. So it's been a silent disease. Just like the Ebola was talked about it for that little period where people start to have the fear that it may hit internationally, or it could become a pandemic. And now with monkeypox having the potential to become an epidemic or a pandemic, now they're talking about it. So the natural reservoir of monkeypox remains unknown. However, African rodents and non-human primates like monkeys may harbor the virus and infect people. Now, some of these details that I'm giving you guys are all reported by the CDC. And, if you go on the CDC guidelines and type in monkeypox, you will find more details about it and how monkeypox works in human, or how it affects humans, and what is the fertility rate. So the fertility rate is known to be at 10%. So it's not as easy as COVID-19 transmission from human to human. You can get it through sexual transmitted, and also, bed sheet closing, and open wounds on your skin as well, and also like nose, mouth, ears, and all those other things. So it's not a disease that just jumps onto people. So there would have to be an actual touching case going on for monkeypox to be transmittable. And so it's something to be aware, just to be cautious about. And some of the symptoms you'll get are like fever and headaches, and the rest of all the details that I probably don't remember now at the moment are all going to be in the CDC guideline website. So I would definitely check out there. So that's the new update that I want to give to you all about the monkeypox that is spreading around within the United States, Canada, and some of the countries in the UK as well, including Australia. So it is very major in Australia, Canada, and USA. So nothing to fear or, to be extremely fearful of, like what COVID has done to many of us. So it's a disease that's been around. There's been many people that have had it and dealt with it as well. And also, to those that are new to is, just take care of yourself and watch your surrounding as much as possible. Now, going on to what has happened recently, on Wednesday, there was a school shooting. There has been many reports of school shootings, so we want to say rest in peace to the 19 children and the 2 teachers that have been shot in Texas last week, Wednesday. So this year alone, there has been 27 school shootings, which have taken place so far. And with the latest being Robb Elementary School, this is the school that had this really terrible tragedy of children being killed and their lives being taken. And also in Texas, in Uvalde. So rest in peace to all of those souls. Now, the gunman and the shooter, there has been interviews going around by their friends, their close people that they have been interacted with. The police are looking at his social media contents to see what could have motivated this shooter to kill little children in the school. And they have not fully revealed who the shooter is. They're still investigating on it. Some of the reports that were behind it is, a week before he turned 18, he went to the shop and bought 2 guns, those long rifle guns. And they're still investigating on how is that even possible, because you have to be 18 or above to have a license to hold a gun. And this kid was able to get a gun 2 weeks before his 18th birthday, and shot his grandma the day before he went before he went on a rampage to shoot other people. So these are some of the disturbing things that are going on in the countries, and of course, every country has its own major problem in how violence are rising up around the world. And now that leads me on to talking about the toxic culture that we are in right now. Not just United States alone, but around the world. But I'll start with USA. With USA and our children that are going through a lot of this, most of it has to do with the society being polarized. And second to that is the pandemic, the aftermath of the pandemic. And third to that is, how can we are so divided? We are so affected by the isolation and all of the things that have happened in the last 3 months. Now, if any of this were happening a lot before that, it definitely gotten a lot higher throughout the pandemic, where now it just seems like it's hitting 50% or above, where it's no longer at 20% of those small cases that you hear anymore. Now it's becoming rare. Now it's becoming more and not rare that you do hear a lot of these horrible tragedies that are taken on. Many of our children are very stuck in the virtual world, social media as well. So there's a huge disconnect going on with the real world, the reality. Kids are not being kids, being able to go outside, hang out with your friends, giving them chores to do. Maybe go work on a fence or mow some grass. Go hang out with your grandparents, hang out with your friends, go climb a tree. Simple things of what makes a child is becoming less now in the society. And the more that is taken away, the more they are stuck in the virtual world, especially metaverse that is taking on a lot of the children's. Kids will spend all day on metaverse, just warfare, shooting people, shooting your friends in the metaverse, and also, crashing cars and all of those things. So if they are detached from the reality of the world, that can also create a huge effect on the children's, because then they no longer have an interest to go outside. And once they get done with metaverse, then they don't know who to social with. They don't know who their real friends are. They don't know what to do next. So it becomes a frustration between them and the parents as well. And second to that is the parents. There's not a lot of discipline with the children. The parents are giving up, and they are not doing as much as they need to on their kids. We used to hear things like, limit the technology used to 2 hours a day. We used to hear that before the pandemic. But now we're starting to see the true meaning behind that. It was something that probably should have been practiced a lot, and we should have listened to it. Because now it's becoming more than 2 hours a day. And the more they are stuck to technology, the harder to keep them away from it. So it takes a lot of strength for a parent to also be able to get their kids out of it. Not only that, children that are in a single family home, it's definitely a lot of strain on one parent as well. Because the parents at work, they're trying to provide the bills, they're trying to keep up with their lifestyle, and keeping the roof on top of their children's head and food to eat. So it definitely plays a lot of factor in what our society is turning to. So when you look at it in the long run, there are some things to worry about. Things that may not ever be normal again, or can be really terrible until we just can't survive it anymore. And it's definitely, a fear to every parent as well, to know that your kids can go somewhere and not be able to come back home. Just seeing some of these parents cry in Texas, it was very, very, very heartbreaking. It was extremely heartbreaking. Your little ones, definitely, it is definitely really heartbreaking. So our condolences goes out to those family and friends as well. And hopefully we could start within ourselves to bring change and, back to the good America we used to know before we entered into a really, really dark phase of a toxic world, even though we're already in it. So, and another thing is, a sensitive world is also a dangerous world. And that's something you see a lot, in the African countries, where people are very sensitive. You tell them something, they easily get upset. Hearing an opinion that is different from them, there's always criticism and also conflicts between the two, and contradictions, many contradictions. So that also brings a lot of dangers into the society, because if people are not willing to dialogue anymore, or disagree to agree or agree to disagree, there's no meaning of the humanity. So it just ends up to people being on each other's throat constantly. So whenever somebody says something, somebody has to retaliate. So, and it doesn't have to be that way, it really doesn't have to be that way. Sometimes you just, the rest of us who don't like to argue, we're just silent in our own world, and don't talk to anyone, because you don't really know who to talk to, or who to have a dialogue without being on each other's throat. So it also creates a lot of isolation as well. Now, lastly but not least, with America filled with so much toxic in the society, the elites and the wealthy are also creating a plan B. So this plan B really shocked me, and it really surprised me. So I'm pretty sure it's going to surprise a lot of you too. So the rich and wealthy American are seeking a second citizenship abroad. Now, who did not think this was coming? This was definitely something that was expected. And it's because they lost faith in the American promise, what America stands for. And they no longer believe in it. So they don't want to put all their eggs in the American society anymore. So where this society is now so polarized, and these people with money, yes, they can destroy something and leave and just go to wherever there is peace, wherever there is happiness, where they can still continue to live their life and enjoy it. Now, to give a little more detail, these outside countries are charging $100,000 worth of investment. So if a person has that kind of money, or they have a lot of money, they could choose a country of their choice and invest in that country. Whether it is school, it is development of the country, agriculture, or just donating to help the helpless, or charity, things of all that nature. So whatever they can invest into is $100,000 worth of investment. Now that's it's definitely more than that. It can go up to $500,000 depending on the country choice of price on these wealthy people. And they are also run by Citizenship Investment Program, and of course, the rest of us here, middle class, who have lost their businesses, and also the third class, who barely has anything to survive on, are stuck with a polarized society. We are stuck with a divided society. So it just makes you wonder, so the elites and the wealthy have destroyed everything, and they have turned people against each other. They have divided the people. They have isolated the people. And they have destroyed the middle class and the small businesses and left everything to the corporate. And so now they want to leave without fixing the problem, and which can be really exhausting for the rest of us who wants to continue to bring positivity into the society. And so we'll see how bad it gets or how crazy it gets before the citizens of the country can decide to put their hands back together and unite and stand up for what America stands for. So those are just some of the few updates that I think are very important and alarming that everyone should know that is happening in our society right now. So, people are people. So everyone has, an opinion, everyone has a thought, everyone has their own belief, everyone has their own likes and dislikes. People are people, and our existence is what embraced this planet as well. So there you have it, and see you all next weekend, and have a wonderful weekend. Good night.
Hot mix mixing.
Du nouveau à Minneapolis, Tempo Afrique Travel. Vous voulez voyager? Achetez vos billets d'avion à l'agent de voyage Tempo Afrique Travel. Avec l'agent de voyage Tempo Afrique Travel, pas de problème de connexion, pas de problème de transfert de vol. Avec l'agent de voyage Tempo Afrique Travel, c'est le voyage en toute tranquillité, en toute beauté, de votre maison jusqu'à votre destination. Votre satisfaction est notre plaisir.